The mysterious neighbor Marcus Webb had always considered himself a reasonable man. The kind who dealt in facts and fiction only between the pages of books in his small shop on Maple Street. But reason began to fail him the day Zara moved into apartment 6. Shah appeared on a rainy Thursday afternoon, carrying a single worn suitcase that seemed far too small for someone starting a new life. Her blonde hair hung in damp waves around her face, and there was something about her skin that caught his attention immediately. A subtle purple undertone that seemed to shift in different lighting, making her appear almost otherworldly high. "I'm Zara," she'd said, extending her hand when they met in the hallway. Her voice carried a melodic quality that made his name sound like music when she repeated it back. Marcus, that's a strong name. Her touch had sent an unexpected jolt through him, warm and electric. Lingering long after she'd disappeared into her apartment with a smile that promised secrets, the strangeness began small, almost dismissible. On his third morning after her arrival, Marcus stood in line at Joe's coffee corner, his usual haunt before opening the bookstore. When Zara appeared beside him as if materializing from thin air, "The house blend with 2 sugars and a splash of cream," she said. Not as a question, but as a statement, frozen. "How did you lucky guess?" she'd replied with that enigmatic smile. But her violet eyes held something deeper, something knowing. Then there was the incident with the lilacs. Marcus had been arranging a small memorial display in his apartment. Purple lilacs in a crystal vase, his mother's favorite flower, something he did every year on the anniversary of her passing. A private ritual he shared with no one that evening. Zara knocked on his door, holding a small bouquet of the same flowers. "These reminded me of you," she'd said softly. "They carry the energy of remembrance and love." His hands had trembled, taking them. "My mother, I know," she'd whispered, and there was such understanding in her eyes that it made his chest ache. Now, standing in the building's dimly lit laundry room at 10 p.m., Marcus found himself acutely aware of her presence. Zara sat on one of the dryers, her legs swinging gently, watching him fold his clothes with an intensity that made his skin prickle. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, and in those moments of dimness, her skin seemed to glow with that purple tint, no longer subtle, but pronounced and beautiful. "You're staring," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "So are you," she countered, tilting her head in a way that was somehow both innocent and provocative. The air between them felt charged, heavy with unspoken questions and undeniable attraction. Marcus abandoned his laundry basket and moved closer. Drawn by a force he couldn't name or resist, "Zara, who are you really?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She slid off the dryer, landing gracefully in front of him, so close he could feel the warmth radiating from her body. Her scent was unlike anything he'd encountered, something like winter starlight in distant oceans. "If such things could have a smell, someone who's been searching," she said, reaching up to touch his face with fingers that seemed to spark against his skin. "Someone who's found what she didn't know she was looking for." His breath caught as she traced the line of his jaw, every nerve ending in his body suddenly alive and screaming for more of her touch. "That's not an answer, I know," she whispered, rising on her toes so her lips were mere inches from his. "But I'm running out of time, Marcus. And there's so much you need to understand." Before the laundry room door banged open, making them spring apart as old Mr. Patterson shuffled in with his basket. Completely oblivious to the tension he'd shattered, Zara's expression shifted to something like fear. "Tomorrow night," she said urgently, backing toward the door. "Meet me on the roof at midnight, please." "I'll explain everything." "Wait," Marcus started, but she was already gone, leaving him standing among half-folded clothes, with his heart pounding and his skin still tingling where she'd touched. Him asterisk secrets revealed the hours until midnight stretched like taffy, each minute dragging with agonizing slowness, as Marcus tried and failed to focus on anything other than Zara's violet eyes and cryptic words. He closed the bookstore early, claiming illness to his assistant Jenny, though the only thing he felt sick with was anticipation and a growing certainty that his life was about to change irrevocably by 11. He was climbing the rusty fire escape to the roof, his hands trembling slightly on the cold metal rungs. The city sprawled below in a tapestry of lights and shadows, car horns and distant sirens creating an urban symphony that felt suddenly foreign and far away as stood at the roof's edge. silhouetted against the night sky, and Marcus's breath caught in his throat because there was no mistaking it now. Her skin glowed with a soft purple luminescence that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Her blonde hair seemed to capture starlight, each strand shimmering with an ethereal quality that defied natural explanation. "You came," she said without turning. Somehow sensing his presence, did you think I wouldn't? Marcus moved closer, drawn to her glow like a moth to flame. "Zara, what's happening to you?" She turned then, and he saw tears tracking down her luminous cheeks. "That's not my real name," her voice broke slightly. "I'm Thalia, Princess Thalia of the 7th house of the Crystalline Nebula, and I'm not from your world, Marcus. I'm not even from your galaxy." The logical part of his brain insisted this was impossible, that he should be running or calling someone or doing anything except standing here believing her. But looking at her glowing skin and the genuine anguish in her eyes, he found that belief came easier than doubt. "An alien," he said softly, testing the word on his tongue. "Yes," she whispered. And suddenly the glow intensified, as if his acceptance had released something within her. 3 months ago, the Void Collective came to my world. They're a parasitic force that consumes entire civilizations, feeding on our energy and our essence until nothing remains. But empty husks floating in space. She moved closer, and he could see her whole body was trembling. "I watched my parents die protecting our people. I saw my home, a world of crystal spires and singing gardens, reduced to dust and darkness. I'm the last, Marcus, the last of billions. And I fled into the cosmos, with nothing but my life, and the clothes I wore his heart broke for her, even as his mind reeled with the impossibility of it all. Why Earth? He managed. Why here? Why me? Thalia reached out, hesitating just before touching him. As if afraid he might pull away, my people have an ability. Something you might call soul resonance. We can sense certain frequencies across vast distances. Connections that transcend physical space. When my world was dying, when I was alone in a tiny escape pod drifting through the void, I felt you felt me." Marcus closed the distance between them, taking her glowing hands in his. The sensation was extraordinary, like holding liquid starlight. "Warm and alive and humming with energy, your kindness," she said. "Tears flowing freely now. Your gentle heart calls out across the universe like a beacon. I didn't understand it at first, didn't know what I was sensing. But I followed that feeling across light years and through dimensions until I found Earth. Until I found this city," this building her voice dropped to a whisper. "Until I found you, and when I saw you that first day in the hallway. When I touched your hand," she looked up at him with eyes that held galaxies. "I knew you were the reason I survived. The reason the universe guided me here. You're my anchor, Marcus. The only thing in this vast cosmos that makes me feel less alone." Something broke open in Marcus's chest. A dam he didn't know existed. He pulled her close, feeling her luminous warmth seep into him. "You're not alone anymore," he murmured against her hair. "I don't understand how or why, but I feel it too, this connection. I've felt it since the moment we met." Thalia pulled back just enough to look at him, her purple skin casting soft shadows across both their faces. "I shouldn't involve you in this," she said, even as her hands gripped his shirt. "The Void Collective, they're hunting me. They can track my energy signature, and when they find me, then we face them together," Marcus interrupted, surprised by the certainty in his own voice. "I don't care if you're human or alien or something in between. I care about you, Thalia." Her eyes widened. "You're not afraid?" "Terrified," he admitted with a shaky laugh, "but not of you." "Never of you," she made a sound between a laugh and a sob. And then her lips were on his. The kiss was electric and tender and desperate all at once. Her mouth tasted like stardust and possibility. And Marcus felt like he was falling through space, untethered from everything he'd known, but held safe in her embrace when they finally broke apart. Both breathless, Thalia pressed her forehead to his. "I have maybe a week before they find me," she whispered. "1 week before I have to run again or stand and fight." "1 week too. Then we make it count," Marcus said, tilting her chin up to meet her gaze. "Show me your world. Tell me everything. Let me know the real you." The purple glow of her skin intensified, bathing them both in soft light as she smiled through her tears. "Are you sure?" he answered by kissing her again, deeper this time, pouring everything he couldn't yet say into the connection between them. And somewhere above, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself was watching and approving. Growing connection the next 3 days existed in a bubble outside normal time. Marcus called in favors at the bookstore, leaving Jenny in charge while he and Thalia carved out a world that belonged only to them. She couldn't risk going out in daylight when her purple-tinted skin might draw too much attention, so they transformed his apartment into their sanctuary, a place where an alien princess and a bookstore owner could simply be two people falling impossibly in love. "Watch this," Thalia said on the second evening, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she sat cross-legged on his couch. She held out her hand, prompt and concentrated. The purple glow intensified, and suddenly Marcus's coffee mug lifted from the table, hovering in midair as it drifted smoothly toward him. "That's incredible," he breathed, catching the mug before it reached him. "What else can you do?" She smiled. "My people were conduits of cosmic energy. We could manipulate matter on a quantum level, heal injuries, communicate across vast distances." Her expression grew wistful. "We built our cities from living crystal that sang in harmony with our thoughts. Every building, every structure was a work of art and science combined." Marcus set down his mug and moved to sit beside her. "Tell me more. Tell me everything about your world." And she did. For hours, Thalia painted pictures with her words of a civilization that sounded like poetry made real. She described the 3 suns that illuminated her homeworld, casting the crystal spires in ever-changing rainbows of light. She spoke of the Harmony Gardens, where plants grew in impossible spirals and flowers bloomed in colors that didn't exist on Earth's spectrum. "We had a festival called the Convergence," she said softly, her head resting on his shoulder. "Once every cycle, when all 3 suns aligned, the entire planet would glow and we'd dance in the streets, our skin luminescent, celebrating the connection between all living things." "It sounds beautiful," Marcus murmured, running his fingers through her blonde hair, marveling at how it seemed to shimmer even in the dim lamplight. It was tears glistened in her violet eyes. "And now it's gone." Dust scattered across the void. No songs, no light, no life. He turned her face toward him. "Then we'll create new beauty here, new memories. You're not just a survivor, Thalia. You're a keeper of that lost civilization. As long as you remember, as long as you live. They live through you." She kissed him then, slow and deep, her hands sliding up his chest to tangle in his hair. The purple glow of her skin cast their shadows dancing across the walls as they sank deeper into the couch. Their kisses growing more urgent and heated. "Marcus," she whispered against his lips, her voice husky with emotion and desire, "I need you to understand something. My people, we bond differently than humans when we give ourselves to someone. It's not just physical. It creates an actual connection, a thread of energy that links our very essences." He pulled back slightly to look into her eyes. "Are you saying I'm saying that if we continue down this path, if we become truly intimate, you'll carry a piece of me with you always?" Her hand pressed against his chest, right over his heart. "And I'll carry you. Our souls will be intertwined in a way that transcends anything humans typically experience." His heart hammered beneath her palm. "And you want that?" "With me, more than I've wanted anything," she confessed, vulnerability naked on her face. "But you need to choose this, Marcus, knowing what it means. Knowing that it will change you." He covered her hand with his. "I choose you, Thalia. I choose this connection. Whatever it brings." The glow of her skin flared bright as she surged forward, claiming his mouth with a passion that took his breath away. They moved together toward his bedroom, shedding clothes and barriers between kisses. Her luminous purple skin was warm beneath his hands, softer than silk and humming with energy that made his fingertips tingle. "You're so beautiful," he murmured, tracing the curve of her hip, the elegant line of her spine. "Like starlight made flesh in you," she breathed, her hands exploring his body with wonder. "You're everything solid and real and good in the universe. My anchor, my home." When they finally came together, it was transcendent. Marcus felt something shift deep in his chest, a warmth that bloomed and spread through his entire being as if Thalia's essence was flowing into him, completing parts of himself he hadn't known were empty. He could feel her emotions washing over him. Love and longing and desperate hope, all tangled together. "I feel you," he gasped. Looking down at her glowing face inside me, "I can feel what you're feeling, yes," she cried out, her back arching as the purple luminescence intensified, bathing them both in ethereal light. "We're connected now, truly connected. You're mine, and I'm yours across all of space and time afterward." They lay tangled together in his sheets, her skin still glowing softly in the darkness. Marcus could feel the thread between them now, a golden cord of energy that pulsed with their combined heartbeats. "I love you," he said. The words feeling both inadequate and absolutely necessary. Thalia turned in his arms, her violet eyes luminous with unshed tears. "I love you too," she whispered. "In my language, we have a word, Velithor. It means the one soul recognizes across the cosmos. The completion of self, that's what you are to me, Marcus. My Velithor." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips, tasting the salt of her tears mixed with something sweeter. "Then we'll find a way through this," he promised. "The Void Collective, the danger, all of it. We'll face it together." She nodded against his chest, but he felt her fear through their new connection, a cold shadow that no amount of warmth could quite dispel. "They're coming," she whispered. "I can feel them getting closer." "Maybe 2 or 3 days at most, then we prepare," Marcus said, with more confidence than he felt. "You have powers, abilities they might not expect you to use, and I have knowledge of this city, this world. We're not helpless, Thalia." She lifted her head, hope flickering in her expression. "You'd fight for me, risk everything." "I'd burn the world down for you," he said simply, and through their bond she knew he meant every word. The hunters arrived. Marcus woke to Thalia's scream, her body rigid beside him, her purple skin blazing so bright it hurt to look at directly. "They're here," she gasped, clutching her chest. "I can feel them. 3 trackers. They've locked onto my signature." He was out of bed instantly. "Pulling on clothes? How long do we have?" "Hours, maybe less." Her voice shook as she dressed, the glow of her skin flickering like a dying star. "Marcus, you need to leave. Get as far from me as possible." "When they find me, no," he said firmly, gripping her shoulders, feeling their soul bond pulse with shared determination. "We do this together, remember?" Through their connection, he felt her fear war with love, and finally surrendered to hope. "Okay," she whispered. Together they spent the next hour preparing. Talia explained that the trackers followed energy signatures, drawn to the unique frequency her people emitted. "But they're not familiar with Earth," Marcus said, an idea forming. "They don't know the city, the terrain. What if we use that against them?" Her eyes widened. "Lead them somewhere we control. Somewhere we can trap them." "The old Morrison warehouse by the docks," Marcus said, already pulling up maps on his phone. "It's been abandoned for years. Metal structure, lots of places to hide. I know it like the back of my hand from urban exploration photography." Talia grabbed his face, kissing him desperately. "You're brilliant." "My Velithor." They reached the warehouse just as twilight painted the sky purple. Appropriately enough, the building loomed like a skeletal giant. All rusted beams and broken windows. Marcus led Thalia inside, their footsteps echoing on concrete floors. "I'll draw them in," she said, her skin beginning to glow brighter. "And I'll be your backup," he finished, hefting a length of pipe he'd found. "My people might not have cosmic powers, but we're pretty good at improvising," she laughed, the sound breaking with emotion. "How did I get so lucky to find you across all the universe?" "The universe knew what it was doing," he said, pulling her close for one more kiss, pouring everything he felt through their bond. Love and courage and the absolute certainty that they would survive this. Together, the bond between them suddenly screamed with warning. Thalia's head snapped toward the entrance. "They're here." 3 figures materialized from shadows that shouldn't exist, tall and angular with skin like obsidian and eyes that glowed sickly green. They wore armor that seemed made of solidified darkness, and they moved with predatory grace. "Princess Thalia," the lead tracker's voice scraped like metal on stone. "You have led us on quite a chase. but it ends now. The Void Collective claims UI belong to no one, Thalia snarled, her purple luminescence flaring as energy crackled around her hands. Especially not the murderers who destroyed my world, then you will die like the rest of your pathetic race. The tracker lunged forward with impossible speed. What happened next was chaos. Thalia unleashed blasts of cosmic energy that lit up the warehouse like lightning. The trackers dodged and countered with tendrils of shadow that seemed to eat light itself. Marcus used the environment, toppling scaffolding and using his knowledge of the building's layout to strike from unexpected angles. He saw one tracker corner Thalia and acted without thinking, bringing his pipe down hard across the creature's back. It shrieked and whirled on him, a human. It hissed, "You dare, he's mine," Thalia roared, and the bond between them suddenly ignited. Marcus felt power flowing through the connection, Thalia's cosmic energy channeling into him. Turning his makeshift weapon into a conduit of purple light, together they fought as one. Connected by love and the soul bond, anticipating each other's moves, covering weaknesses, amplifying strengths, slowly, impossibly. They began to win. The lead tracker fell first, then the second. But the third managed to send out a signal before Thalia's energy blast disintegrated it. "A distress call," she said, breathing hard, her glow dimming with exhaustion. "More will come." "Many more." Marcus pulled her close. "Then we leave Earth, we run." "Together you'd leave your world?" she asked, searching his face. "Everything you know?" "You're my world now," he said simply. "Wherever you go." "I go a new beginning." The message arrived 3 days later. Not from the Void Collective, but from the stars themselves. Thalia's skin suddenly blazed with light as information downloaded directly into her consciousness. "Marcus," she breathed, wonder filling her voice, "there are survivors. A colony ship escaped before the final attack. They've been searching for me. They're coming." Hope and dread warred in his chest. "You'll leave then." "Go back to your people, not without you," she said fiercely, gripping his hands. "If you still want to come, my Vilather? If you're willing to leave everything behind?" Marcus looked around his small apartment. At the bookstore below, where he'd spent years in comfortable predictability, at the city lights twinkling through the window, everything familiar and safe and utterly meaningless without her. "I've spent my whole life waiting for something extraordinary," he said. "Waiting to matter, to be part of something bigger. I just didn't know I was waiting for you." Thalia's eyes filled with tears as she pulled him into a kiss that tasted like goodbye and hello all at once. "The ship arrives tonight," she whispered. "We leave at midnight." They spent their final hours on Earth on the rooftop where she'd first revealed her truth. The colony ship appeared as a star that grew brighter and closer, finally resolving into an elegant vessel of living crystal that made Marcus's breath catch. "It's beautiful," he said. "Like your descriptions of home?" "It's a piece of home," Thalia corrected. "And now it's your home." To the ship landed silently, and figures emerged, all with that same purple-tinted skin and luminous quality. Their joy at finding their lost princess was palpable. But Thalia held Marcus's hand tightly, making it clear they were a unit. "Inseparable." "This is Marcus," she announced to her people, her voice carrying authority and love. "My Vilather, bonded to me across the cosmos. He comes with us or I stay behind." There was no argument. The survivors had lost too much to deny their princess happiness. They welcomed Marcus aboard with grace and curiosity, fascinated by the human who'd captured their leader's heart. As the ship lifted off, Marcus watched Earth shrink below them, everything he'd known becoming a blue marble in an infinite sea of stars. Thalia pressed against his side, their bond humming with shared emotions. "Any regrets?" she asked softly. He turned to her, this impossible woman who'd crossed galaxies to find him, who glowed with purple light and had shown him that love could transcend worlds. "Not even one," he said. "Wherever we're going, whatever comes next. As long as we're together," she echoed, kissing him as the stars wheeled around them. The ship jumped to faster than light travel, leaving Earth behind but carrying with it a love story that had bridged the void between worlds. Marcus Webb, bookstore owner, had become Marcus Webb, explorer of the cosmos, bonded mate to a princess, keeper of lost histories and creator of new futures as they sailed through the infinite darkness toward a new colony world. toward a civilization rebuilding itself from ashes. Marcus realized that sometimes the greatest adventures begin not with seeking but with being found. The Leah had crossed the universe looking for an anchor, and he'd been waiting his whole life to be someone's home. Their story was just beginning. Written in starlight and purple glow, in soul bonds and cosmic destiny. In the simple truth that love, real love, knows no boundaries. Not of distance or species or worlds, the universe was vast and full of wonders. And somewhere in its infinite expanse, a human and an alien would build something extraordinary together. A bridge between civilizations, a testament to the power of connection, a love story for the ages, and, in the end, that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The end.